Let's get to the criminology. Let's get to Idaho news. If you recall, there was a killing that happened. 4 Idaho students were murdered, and the police were like, "Doy, we have no idea what happened." Well, finally, they found the student allegedly that did it. He was a criminology PhD, and he has been charged with the killings of 4 Idaho students. And there's some really weird updates on it. He was a Redditor. You know, he was asking criminals. He was like surveying criminals anonymously for his own criminology PhD. You know, he's an interesting guy. Let's take a look.
Now in the murder of 4 college students in Idaho. A PhD student specializing in criminology was arrested in Pennsylvania, now facing charges and extradition to Idaho.
28-year-old Brian Koberger has been held here at the Monroe County Correctional Facility since his arrest early Friday morning. Now he is facing 4 charges of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary, and he is set to appear before a judge here in Pennsylvania tomorrow afternoon.
This morning, new details unfolding about the suspect in the gruesome murders of the 4 University of Idaho students.
He was perfectly friendly, nice to be around, talked, he's a very intelligent person.
Detectives arrested 28-year-old Brian Christopher Koberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
From what I understand, the cops in this this little bumfuck town, by the way, are just like all, at least if Carter is correct, they're like, half of them are in the Klan. Literally, they rarely ever solve any crimes whatsoever. They're just not very good at their jobs at all, unless their job is to I guess do white supremacist shit.
Authorities believe in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th, he stabbed Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez to death in their beds. On Monday, November 14th, while the world learned of the horror, Koberger was pursuing his PhD in criminology at Washington State University. His lawyer telling ABC News that Koberger's father flew out to Washington State so the two could take part in a pre-planned father-son cross-country drive back to Pennsylvania for Christmas.
Mr. Koberger indicated that Brian was acting normal and not out of character.
They arrived in that white Hyundai Elantra on December 13th, exactly 1 month after the brutal stabbings.
There was some frustration over how long this took, but this was pretty effective police work, wasn't it?
Exactly. The police and the FBI were very effective at keeping this case.
Yeah, no. It was the FBI, from what I understand, that actually had to fucking step in.
The radar. And so I think they found his DNA at the scene. He has no record, so his DNA is not on file, but through genetic genealogy, they were able to track down through family records his DNA. So you have a DNA hit and you have the car that was placed at the scene, and I think between the two is probably the basis of the probable cause.
It is wild that the genetic, like the 23andMe cooked them. A lot of people with family members who have engaged in like 23andMe have gotten caught this way. TikTok went crazy with this case and literally claimed with no reason whatsoever, with no evidence whatsoever, that a professor was responsible for it. TikTok did what TikTok always does. And, there was so much speculation. TikTok detectives, after making 840 false accusations, ruined the reputation of 75 people, coming up with 3,000 theories based on no real evidence, only for the alleged killer to be someone that no one had heard of. Yeah. I mean, this is like a we did it Reddit moment. Here, former student.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I was, just sleeping here on the couch in my parents'
Former
house.
student of Idaho murder suspect describes the abrupt behavior change.
Woke up to all these tweets that were like, oh, they got the guy. And of course, this has been something that everyone in Pullman has been following, everyone in the whole Pullman, Moscow area. And so, I look on my phone and I see the guy's name and I see the picture. And I'm thinking, that looks a lot like my TA who's also named Brian, but that would be crazy. And so I went and I checked my email, to see the emails I'd had with him and the name matched and everything. And yeah, it was just totally jarring, totally shocking to realize that this person that had been, kind of grading my papers was, allegedly this horrible murderer.
We're moving on to new updates from the Idaho murders.
The man accused of killing 4 university students near campus is now in county jail in Idaho. He was handed over to local authorities after a flight from Pennsylvania. Omar Villafranca has more from Moscow, Idaho.
Landing in Washington late Wednesday night, 28-year-old Brian Koberger was met by law enforcement on the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport tarmac. He was quickly escorted to the Leda County Jail in Moscow, Idaho, where he was booked on 4 counts of first-degree murder for allegedly killing Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin in November.
Hello, how you doing? How y'all doing?
Koberger's arrival in Idaho came as police released new body cam video of the suspect and his dad being pulled pulled over twice in Indiana on a December road trip home to Pennsylvania.
See, he's right up on.
Oh yeah, they stopped him, dude. They fucking stopped him. I think twice, not even once. God, cops are awesome, dude.
Van, man. He's right up on the back of that van. Over for tailgating.
Video shows the sheriff's deputy talking with the two about their long drive.
So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going there? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're slightly driving for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours.
More than 2 weeks.
Bro, look at his fucking face. Dude, white man buff is so insane, okay? Like, you get full, like, no matter what happens, if you're a white dude and you're talking to a cop, cops literally cannot comprehend any vibes that are fucked. Sneak plus 10, try sneak plus 100, dude. That meta is so OP, I swear to God. It's crazy. Obviously, we've talked about it, like, it's OP in general, because, like, you know, we live in a society that is designed to maintain power in the hands of what is, you know, an endlessly expanding or sometimes shrinking concept of what white people are. But god damn, dude, I mean, this is like, it's weird. It's weird, like, when police interactions, they're rolling nat 20s every time. Every time. How many fucking serial killers, which, by the way, almost all of them are white, but how many serial killers have had moments where they've interacted with cops, like literally with a body in the trunk, literally immediately after a murder, like when they fit the profile of a suspect that they're looking for? It is so overpowered. Jeffrey Dahmer is a example as well. It's just like it's just a race passive, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Weeks after this, Kohberger was arrested at his family's home in Pennsylvania. The public defender for his extradition case, Jason Labar, described him to 48 Hours as calm and intelligent.
He's an ordinary man to me. I see no distinct characteristics. He's easy to talk to. He's aware of the situation. He's very calm.
What? Bro, there is no... Dude, this is another... Wait, by the way, this is another race buff. This is another racial buff that people don't know about. They also get a plus 10 media buff, okay? A lot of people constantly complain about, like, oh, white men are under attack or whatever. But the amount of... They get plus 10 charisma in the eyes of media figures. They never talk about these motherfuckers and people who hold institutional power in general, where they talk about a serial killer like he's just some chill dude. Remember, Ted Bundy, one of the most prolific rapist murderers of all time. In the aftermath of the case on Ted Bundy, the judge literally told him, as he was delivering his final deliberation, as he was like delivering the final judgment, he said, "You are such a fine young man. Perhaps if circumstances were different, it's such a waste of a fine young man. Perhaps if circumstances were different, you would be in this courtroom defending other innocent people or something." Here was the Ted Bundy sentencing hearing.
The jury's recommendation and sentenced Theodore Bundy to die in the electric chair for the murder of two co-eds.
Then, in an unexpected move, perhaps an afterthought, Cowart stunned the courtroom with some parting words for Bundy.
Take care of yourself, young man.
Thank you.
I say that to you sincerely. Take care of yourself. It's a tragedy for this court to see. It's such a total waste, I think, of humanity that I've experienced in this court. You're a bright young man. You made a good lawyer. I'd love to have you practice in front of me, but you went another way, partner.
I mean, what do you mean when we say this shit? Like, I'm not pulling this out of my ass. Here, status and race in the Stanford rape case. Why Brock Turner's mugshot matters. Here is Canadians also getting in on the fun. A black woman let her child play in the park next to where she worked. This is the image the media circulated. Her fucking mugshot. A white man raped an unconscious woman in an alley behind a dumpster. This is the image media circulated. His Stanford yearbook picture. If you don't think that this is a reinforcement of white supremacist implicit biases that are inside of like every fucking person, I don't know what to tell you. That's the buff we're talking about. The way to fix this is not by showing white dudes in mugshots. The way to fix this is by showing everyone in, better moments, I guess. Especially when it's not a fucking person that has done like an insane, unimaginable crime. Or in most instances, a black victim of police brutality. Black people, even when they're fucking victims of police brutality, are still and were until like a lot of the media changed their overall way of covering these events, and that is like a new thing for the record. They used to treat literal victims of police brutality and police violence like they were also the actual perpetrators when they weren't. Spoke with the Leyte County Sheriff. He says he has heard nothing out of the ordinary with Kohlberger in the jail so far. He says they are trying to accommodate Kohlberger's vegan diet restrictions, but we are not going to buy new pots and pans or anything like that. That's so funny. Oh my God. You mean it to, another vegan, dude. Jesus Christ. Okay, listen. Vegans are very kind individuals, okay? I'm not going to shit on vegans right now. And make fun of them with an easy dunk here. New investigative details released on Thursday provide the first clear view of the apparent movements of the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in the early morning hours of November 13. At 1:45 a.m., after spending several hours at a frat party, 2 of the victims, Zana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, returned to the off-campus house Miss Kernodle shared with several roommates, including 2 of the other victims. At 1:56 a.m., the other victims, Kaylee Salvez and Madison Mogan, arrive back at the house after spending time at a bar and grabbing food at a food truck. 2:47 a.m., a phone belonging to the suspect, Brian Kohlberger, stops connecting to the cell phone network in Pullman, Washington, where he lives, a short drive from the University of Idaho campus in Moscow. 2:53 a.m., surveillance footage shows a white sedan consistent with a white Hyundai Elantra registered to Kohlberger traveling towards the highway between Pullman and Moscow. 3:29 a.m., surveillance video shows what police say is a white Hyundai Elantra in the Moscow neighborhood that includes the victim's house where the crime later occurred. The vehicle makes 3 passes by the house. One of the victims at 4 a.m., Zana Kernodle, receives a DoorDash delivery at home. According to investigators, at about the same time, another occupant of the house is awakened by what she thinks is an upstairs roommate playing with her dog, according to her statement to the police. At 4:04 a.m., video shows of Elantra returning to the area for a 4th time, at one point doing a 3-point turn in the roadway near the house. At 4:12 a.m., Kernodle uses the TikTok app on her phone. Her phone records suggest. The downstairs roommate is also awake. Sometime after 4 a.m., she tells investigators she hears what sounds like crying coming from Kernodle's room. When she opens her door, she hears a male voice telling someone something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." So one of the victims who I guess survived saw the murderer, allegedly. And he presented himself as like a random person in the middle of the night, a hooded figure with, I believe, bushy eyebrows or something, saying that they were there to help. 4:17 a.m., a security camera from a nearby residence picks up distorted audio of what sounds like a whimper and a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times. At some point, and exactly when is unclear, the roommate opens her bedroom door again. According to the account she gave investigators, and sees a man with bushy eyebrows, clad in black clothing and a mask. The man walks past her towards a sliding door on the 2nd floor. She goes back into her room and locks the door, and it is unclear what she does during the next several hours. At 4:20 a.m., the white Elantra is seen leaving the neighborhood at a high rate of speed. At 4:48 a.m., Kohlberger's phone reconnects the cell network south of Moscow near Blaine, Idaho. At 5:30 a.m., after traveling in the area south of Moscow, Kohlberger's phone is detected back in Pullman. At 9:12 a.m., Kohlberger's phone returns to Moscow and connects to the cellular network near the scene of the murders. It stays there until 9:21 a.m. before returning to the area of his home in Pullman. So he went back to the scene of the crime. At 12 a.m., 11:58 a.m., a 911 call reports an unconscious person at the scene of the killings, triggering a response from law enforcement. They waited 7 hours to call the cops. This timeline looks weird. So here's the thing. It's late at night. People are fucking drunk. There's a lot of activity inside of a house. You might assume that someone is just like a partier. You know what I mean? She probably fucking saw some dude, went, oh, like, you know, someone is having a person over, and decided to go back to sleep. So when they woke up, that's when they figured out, oh shit, like the people in the house are dead.
Up on the back end of that van, pulled you over for tailgating.
The FBI dispelled the rumor this was involved. Okay, so, but there's no, why would a fucking random cop pull someone over for tailgating? Like, that's a ridiculous charge to pull someone over. I mean, you get pulled over for dumb shit all the time. They have quotas and stuff, but this is This is the car that a suspect used in a murder. It's a car that is like, you know, it's a car that matches the description of the car that they're looking for perfectly. They will stop that car for one reason or the other. An out-of-state license plate and shit. Come on.
So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right.
Bro, that is insane. What an interaction. Hey, have a great day, sir. Here, I'll throw the fucking lights on for you so you can get to your place. The amount of times, especially in like New Jersey, where I've been pulled over for some dumb shit by like a fucking cop in a non-identifiable car, like not a cruiser. Jesus Christ, dude. I've gotten a fucking ticket for not wearing a seatbelt in the back seat of a car in West Hollywood. Okay? In the back seat of a car, which I didn't even know was like the law. If cops want to fucking get you on something, they'll get you. Okay? They'll fucking get you.